Hey everybody, you're listening to the Hisessions Hawaii podcast where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm Johnny Masasu, your host, and joining me today is Mr. Kyle Shimabukuro and Devon Nekoba.
What's up?
That's how it's going to be today, because our, it's one of those things, people get
when
sick.
our guests don't show up, then you get us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dave's just sitting, but he just ran upstairs.
Dave ran up hiding in.
Before we begin, we can remind you of all the ways you can stay in touch with the show. There is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Hisessions. You can go to SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, listen to the podcast. And of course, you can email us at hisessions@yahoo.com. If you
Good job, by the way, looking at the camera.
Yeah, getting
nice.
more. Well, I'm looking this way too. It makes it easier.
Huh.
If you'd like to help the show get more music on the channel, you can go to patreon.com and donate. There you'll get more involved with the show and determine who and what is filmed. No new patrons today, but everyone should be starting to get their t-shirts.
Oh, good.
So it'll just be rolling out over the next month. I've been doing a little bit a day.
You know, it'd be cool if you guys can take a selfie with it and send it to John.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah,
cool. Yeah, because
yeah.
we can post it. We can post it.
Yeah, then we'll post it.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kupu Kupu Landscaping, landscape architects. You can service the whole island of Oahu with Kevin Yokomura, 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or you can go to kupukupulandscaping.com. I'd like to thank Fort Ruger Market. Fort Ruger! Had my Rugerlicious again today. And we'll talk about that a little bit, because we'll talk about New Year's resolutions, if you have any.
Oh, wait.
What?
How'd you like the longanisa? The
Oh,
sausage.
yeah, it was good. Yeah. So Kyle had something different. What is it called?
I grabbed the longanisa and egg with rice. Fried rice.
To your breakfast for lunch.
Yeah, it was super good.
Okay.
You can find Devon, Kumu 94.7. You can go to Kyle at you can go to highlifeclothing.com for Kyle.
Thank you.
Oh, and you did the Mickey Mouse shirt.
Yeah, I did as a kind of experiment,
Yeah.
like fooling around with this public domain thing is kind of
For those of you
interesting.
who are unaware, recently into the public domain, the Mickey Mouse that is from Steamboat Willie,
Steamboat Willie.
which is
Mickey
different
Mouse.
from the current Mickey Mouse, went into the public domain, so people can use that.
Yeah, I kind of hem-hawed over it for a while
Yeah.
and then talked to, some of the people.
Yeah.
And I just decided to just pull the trigger for a little bit and see what happens. Just to see, It's kind of interesting to use something that they say, yeah, you
Used
can
to
use
be,
them,
yeah,
and be like, I might as well just try and see how it works,
That's kind of been your whole career, actually.
Yeah, just try.
Yeah, just try. And then they go, "God, you can't use that." Oh, sorry.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? Sometimes.
That is his whole life.
But later, as I got older and the brand's been around, I always kind of err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
So this one was like, I mean, I've read articles, I did research, and I kind of like looked at it. I was like,
Okay, wait. When you say you read articles and you did research, you weren't looking on like the dark web for this stuff, right?
No, but I actually went
all
through
of that conspiracy stuff is all.
No, I went through
China
I went to
wrong.
stuff on public domain.
Oh, okay.
I read up on it, what the date gotta be. I think it was
50 years, right?
96, 95 years or something like that.
Oh.
Something like that, where it can become public domain. Then I realized Disney also took a lot of public domain stuff and turned it into like their own cash cow. So.
Yep.
You know what? When you think about it, what's kind of interesting, or will be interesting coming up in the next few years, is that
Batman. Yep.
No, but
Superman.
Like stories and pop culture is going to reach 100 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of weird when you think about it. Or I always talk about this with my parents and my kids. Like when you think about our generation, like the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, I'd say. That's like the peak of pop culture, right?
Yeah.
Because you had television coming online, you had movies coming online. And so we grew up with all of that. But I don't feel like it's changed that much between the 90s and now. You still have movies, you still have television. Things are a little bit different, but
I think it changed
a lot of it is
lot.
they're just recycling the stories.
It has, but it's also been tampered and like kind of like played down now because of the woke culture.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a relatively new change.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if you think about like even the music from my parents to mine, you start off with Elvis and doo-wop and stuff, and then I'm listening to gangster rap in 1991, right?
Yeah.
But now I listen to Nisa's stuff. It's rap. It's terrible rap.
Is that
It's like
mumble rap
Mumble
thing?
rap, but I mean it's
Yeah.
still rap, and it's the beats are kind of they're still using the same type of equipment for making beats and stuff, and everything's relatively the same. It's just different style.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you saw it because I saw it too the other day. He launched this new song. There was a Alanis Morissette cover.
Oh, I didn't see it.
You liked it
Oh, I do a lot of liking without
without listening to it.
without going.
You guys
through.
gotta listen to it. She did a rendition of "Thank You" by Alanis.
Oh, okay.
It's unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'll let you listen to it after that.
Okay,
'cause
okay.
You already liked it already.
Okay. Well, especially with the Hisessions, I think about it a lot because so Liko and I both run the Hisessions Instagram
Oh,
account.
okay.
And what I do is like maybe twice a day I just go and I like the first 20 things that come up on the Hisessions. So I'm like, man, I could be liking stuff that I probably might not like, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to, get engagement going, and we have followers and we follow them back, and I want to
That kind of
contribute to their likes. So
I
I
guess
just
so.
put a
But
like-
now everybody knows that you didn't really pay attention.
thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, the 8 people that listen to this podcast.
Yeah, that's
do,
true.
That's
That's
about
true.
It. Yeah.
Especially with the 3 of us, there's probably only 3 people listening to us.
Yeah, I know.
How bad are the pods, the ones that we play that have only us?
No, they get about the same listenership. I think most people, Kevin, who's Koopa Koopa Landscaping, but also listens to the podcast. He's like one of these guys that he's like, oh, I turn it on when I'm doing my landscaping. It's in the background, and I listen, and sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's not. But and even myself, when I'm working, I usually have something on in the background.
Mhm.
I'll turn on like a Joe Rogan podcast or something. But I'm not.
Do you listen to ours?
I do listen to
No,
to
like
ours.
after you finish editing and watching
Yeah.
all that stuff. You do.
Yeah, because if I'm being completely honest, I listen because I think maybe it'll add one more like to the thing, but I do listen to it.
Because I know Devon doesn't listen at all.
But what I do is actually because I listen to podcasts in the car when I'm driving, right? So I'll start it, and then all my other podcasts, I'll stop the podcast when the car stops, and then I'll get out and I come back and I start it again where I left off. The Hisessions when I'll start it, and if I just let it go.
Yeah. I listen to it for different reasons.
Oh yeah.
I think I miss a lot sometimes when you listen to the guest speak, so I learn more by listening to it.
Yeah.
But I also listen to it to make sure I didn't say anything so stupid that I shouldn't show up on this podcast again.
Oh no. I try to.
And by the way, I don't listen because I don't like listening to the sound of my voice.
Oh.
So you torture everybody by listening to the sound of your voice.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's your whole job.
That's your whole job, bro.
I know.
Why
But
don't you
I
like your
can't-
voice?
I can't stand it. I don't like listening to myself talk. I don't like watching myself talk. No.
What about? Well, what do you think you sound like?
I don't know, but I don't think I sound like this.
What do you think you sound like right now?
I don't know. What do you mean?
What don't you like about it?
I just don't like hearing myself talk. I don't like watching myself doing stuff. I very rarely watch the stuff.
That's
that
the
I do.
Asian in you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's
let me,
so weird,
No, but I'm not.
You
I'm
guys
not
keep
alone.
talking.
There are
I'm gonna
other.
get my
There are
phone
other
real quick.
people who are like that too. What happened? You forgot something.
Well, we're gonna do the Facebook question, so I gotta get so I can get the question.
So
Facebook question? Oh, Facebook
yeah,
question.
he asked people for Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so
Yes.
let's
Are
dig
we
in.
getting more into the
I
my
find
psyche
it
here?
fascinating
Hmm.
that.
I'm not the only one. Actually, there's a lot of artists, movie people, and stuff like
So
that.
did you
They don't
take a
watch
cue
anything
from
to do-
them, or did you?
No, I've never enjoyed watching or listening to myself. at
For a
all.
guy that loves being on stage,
Mhm.
likes karaoke and singing, is on the radio every morning,
Mhm.
acts. I don't say you dance, but you act.
Mhm.
And you,
Yeah,
and stuff.
don't say act.
Yeah.
Don't say dance.
Yeah. I find it baffling that you don't like watching yourself.
Nah, it's very disturbing for me. I can't do it.
So you don't mind that other people they
It's
don't
a-
find it they like watching you, but you don't want to watch it to find out why they like watching you.
No, I'll ask them. I'll say, "What exactly is it about what I'm doing that you're okay with?" And they just go, "I don't know." I mean, in the moment, I know it's going well, but I don't know.
Is that how you are too? You leave your work behind once you do it.
Yeah,
Mm.
a lot. I mean, with the music stuff, you kind of got to be involved all the way to the end, so you get hypercritical, but you have to do it. But like, I do other people's podcasts and things like that, and I never listen back to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe because you guys been in the industry of people listening to you and watching you all the time, you guys got kind of like accustomed to it.
I don't know. I just cringe at myself, like
Really?
Yeah.
Because it never sounds the way you'd like it to sound, no matter what it sounds like. I can be emceeing something and be totally kicking ass, and then as soon as you leave the stage, you're going, oh man, I could have did that better, could have did that better. I didn't really connect in this way. It's really strange.
Yeah.
I know I can do it though, but
I have this problem of like not knowing when I've gone too far.
oh, you mean like my wedding?
Yeah. So like the moment I turn something, the moment I finish doing something, and then I'm driving home, or I stop, you press stop on this.
Yeah.
My whole hour is like, did I say something? Did I do something?
See, but you didn't even remember if you did it. You just go, did I do? Meh.
No, and that's why I rewatch it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's do these Facebook questions because I
cool.
appreciate all the people who responded and
Thank you.
got us some.
When I checked, there's only 2 people that responded.
Oh no, there's about 7 or 8.
Oh really?
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll get to all of them because I think some of them will spark other stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll start with this easy one because to me this is the easiest question. This comes from Lars. Who would best survive on a deserted island? I think we all know that's Kyle
Yeah.
because
Why?
Yeah.
you can fish.
Yeah, you can fish, you can build shit, you can, like, you're the mad scientist guy, so you'll come up with shit, and John and I'll just die on the beach because
Yeah,
we can't do anything.
I have 0 survival skills.
That's interesting.
I mean, maybe I could outlast Devon
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
you outlast
because
Devon.
I
Yeah,
have
you'd outlast
camped
me.
out on the beach before,
Well,
like
yeah.
fishing and stuff.
But
But
you guys would
I
eat
think
me.
the
But
reason why you'd outlast Devon first, because it's obvious. I would eat Devon first.
it's got the most nutrients.
Yeah, I mean, look.
What?
What you think more tasty if you were hanging
I
on
don't
a
know,
rack
he
in
get,
a...
he get belly now, so
I do have a
you know,
little bit of a
maybe-
belly.
yeah,
Oh,
you know.
which reminds me. See, this is why I don't think we're gonna get through the 7
Okay.
things. So one of the things that I don't do resolutions, but every year I do like goal setting and stuff, and I do planning. Like life planning. And one of the things that I had on my list was, okay, 2 days a week, I'm gonna not eat any processed foods and try to cut back on carbs, sugar, and
Well, I
stuff.
guess you blew today's one then.
So, yeah.
Since you
it's
got a
not, no, it's
Dr.
not
Pepper
today.
cream soda.
Well, it was never gonna be Tuesdays because Tuesday's Ruger Market Day, right? So it's not gonna be.
Yeah, no, we
Tuesday.
should just say Tuesdays is off limits.
No, I said 2 days.
Not
2 days,
Tuesday.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
2
so-
days.
Yeah,
so-
but,
so-
but on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just eat
Oh,
whatever
he
I
only
want.
has to pick 2 other days out of the
Yeah.
week, so yeah.
So I tried last week Wednesday. Okay. I ate eggs, apple. I had a steak. I had some
Ooh.
spinach. I sautéed some broccoli. So that's a lot of food. I could not make it. Like I couldn't do 2 days. Like the next day, I had to adjust it already. I didn't even make it the first week.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, remember I was telling you on Sunday we went woke up early in the morning to get breakfast, me and my wife, and we ended up at Kona Brewing instead because the only place that was open. I choked tourists everywhere. Couldn't find any place to eat, bro.
Yeah.
And Kona Brewing has the best pizza.
They have good food.
So we ordered a pizza in the
Okay.
morning, and then in the morning it was kind of like lunch already, and I'd eat like almost half the pizza by myself.
Okay.
And then of course I felt fat and sick, the whole day. And then I told her, hey, you know what? Monday, let's try a vegetarian diet. And she was like, are you serious? And I said, yeah, like if
Well,
'cause
why did you rope your wife into the thing?
she don't mind eating healthy. It's not a big deal for
She
her.
always- yeah.
So I told her, oh, like, why don't you, because she has a vegetarian place around where she works. She goes, I'll pick up something for you. I go, okay. She goes, you sure? And I said, yeah, I'll just try it because I'll eat a regular lunch or something, but then at dinner I'll eat something healthy.
Okay.
She goes, okay. So last night was the first night.
Okay.
So earlier that day I just ate Subway. I figured tuna sandwich,
See where
right?
this is going
No,
already.
so I ate tuna sandwich, right? Subway. It's
Yeah.
fine, like,
Okay,
that's my lunch.
okay.
Kind of healthy, tuna sandwich.
Well, it's Subway though. You can
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can light that bread on fire.
So she came home and was vegetarian burrito.
Okay.
And she goes, here, I heard it's really good. I'm like, okay. So I chopped it up. I ate half. And then in the beginning, I was like, oh. And towards the end, I was like, ah. And she goes, you didn't like it? I go, that's the shittiest burrito I ever tasted in my life, man. But I'm full. You know? So I go,
Okay.
I guess it accomplished what it needed to accomplish.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle Tuesday, Wednesday,
You know-
Thursday, Friday, bro.
Wait.
Saturday.
So that was
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna try to eat the whole week, eat vegetarian, or you're saying from here on out?
That's
we're
why
going-
today I ate longanisa and rice and stuff because I know tonight gonna be probably torture for me.
You're
Something.
counterbalancing. Oh,
Yeah.
good for you, food.
But I cannot, bro. Like that's torture.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I could, I mean, steak is good,
Yeah.
and the broccoli that I made was excellent. Actually, it's had a lot of garlic in it and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And but
You need
Man.
rice.
by the end of the day, I was grumpy and just like upset at
You
people.
mean grumpier than usual?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I just like, man, I can't do it. So then the next day, instead of doing it again, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna drink soda. I'm not gonna eat candy or cake or stuff, but I'll eat rice. We kind of add in some
But
Some-
isn't even rice is bad for you though?
level of sanity.
Yeah. Don't eat a lot of rice. Maybe.
Yeah, it's
You
just
know, like
smaller
2 scoop
portion
rice, eat a scoop.
or whatever. So I'm just trying to. So 2 days a week, I'm just trying to watch what I eat. Except I'm like tomorrow, I'm gonna do my no processed, low carb thing again.
And
I can do one day. I just can't do two in a
even told
row.
my wife, yeah, I saw this video. This guy took off sugar for a week and he lost plenty of weight. She goes, "Really? You can take off sugar?" And I go, "I can try." And then today I saw M&Ms at I'm like,
Oh, well.
"Oh well."
Well, and the worst part about it too is like we're right out of holiday season.
Yeah.
Right? So people are like giving you stuff, and like I have all this lihi mui. Someone gave us this like pack of like crack seed and pickled mango and stuff like that.
You
I'm
bring
like,
them over here. We
and
take
I'm
care
like,
of it.
staring at it in my kitchen, right? So
I ate a whole
Tempted.
bag of gummy strawberries in a week because it was at my house. Somebody brought it over.
It wasn't me.
yeah.
Yeah. But like here we are. We're trying to suffer and do this diet thing.
Yeah.
But Devin has another diet thing that he's doing that
Yeah, working.
huh?
It's working.
It's working, but it also now I realize you can get sick from it too.
Yeah.
Well, if you, yeah.
You know?
The active ingredient in it will do that for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
'Cause that's why he looks like the way he does right now. He's not feeling that well, apparently, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really bad this morning,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But he OD'd on it a little bit.
Did not OD.
OD on it.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go. We got this from a Chad.
Chad.
Okay.
We know
The
Chad.
Chad.
We know Chad.
Okay. We go. Okay. I this is a good one. Stupid things you guys did as kids, or even more recently. I like that one. I got a good story.
Okay.
If you want to hear it.
All right.
My buddy Taylor, who's been on the podcast, will vouch for this.
I just saw
story.
him on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, if you see him again, tell him I said hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, he was saying, John and I are supposed to get together. Never happens. It's like,
Yeah.
man,
I
you guys
know.
are busy, man.
We're old.
You all have kids.
I was
so-
with Taylor,
Okay.
and we were, I think, we were just walking around UH. But this is when we were younger. It was maybe like 13, 14. So it's I was my kid's age
Mhm.
now, right? And I remember we were just cruising around where the current like soccer practice field is, but I guess the football players practice over there too and stuff like that, right? And I was with Taylor, and then there were these like 3 cute girls that were just hanging out there too, and they were standing right by those tackle dummies, the things where the coach stands on them and then the guys hit
Yeah,
and they push
yeah. Sled.
the
Yeah.
sled, yeah.
Tackle sled.
So they were hanging right on those things, and then they're like waving at us, like, "Hey, come over," So I told Taylor, I'm like, "Let me do the talking."
Oh, good.
Okay. And so we walk over there, and then they were kind of like leaning against they were on the sled, leaning backwards toward like the part where the guys would push. And so I'm like, all suave, I walk up there and I jump on the thing, and the whole freaking thing tipped over, and we all went like ass over our heads because the thing tipped and we all fell over and stuff.
Were they
Yeah.
laughing?
No, they were not laughing. And they left after that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty stupid.
Do you know these people now? The girls?
No, I never saw them again.
No.
Yeah. So Taylor always brings that up whenever.
You ruined the chances of
Yeah.
you guys hooking up.
Yep.
Damn.
You did all right, though. In
Yeah.
the end, you did
I
all right.
did
It took
okay.
a while, but you
Yeah,
did
but that was
okay.
15 years later, probably.
But I'm
So-
so glad, like, there was no cameras,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no TikTok.
Yeah.
I think
Nobody filmed that.
that's the thing that we can like say glad cameras weren't around.
Good God, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I realized that my degree is in teaching, and so I did student teaching, right? And when I was a student teacher, I was 24. My students were 14, and then, like maybe like 4 years later, Facebook gets invented, right? So then some of the kids, they find me, oh, Mr. Yamasato's on Facebook, right? So then they friend me, which is fine, whatever. But I see them grow up because now they're 18, they're going into college, right? And I remember there was a trend back in the day where at the clubs there'd be guys who just go around to take pictures and stuff, right? And then they'd post them up on Facebook, and then people would tag people and stuff like that. And so I'd see all my former students, and they're all in the club and like at the soap bubble parties, and they're like dancing, like face all, and they're tagged in these pictures. I'm oh my God, I'm so glad, like,
right?
They're never gonna be a picture of me like at a club, like all sauced and stuff out there, But yeah,
that's true, man.
It's a okay. So what's an embarrassing?
You can go to Devon.
No.
Story
You go ahead. I have way too many stories.
I can tell you one I did yesterday.
Okay.
So I got a call from my Costco membership Visa saying that my payment is due. It's a little late. And I was like, I never buy anything from Costco, so why do I have this $500 something or $600 something bill?
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell, man? And then I realized I bought a TV on Costco.com. So I didn't go to Costco and use it. I bought a TV. But then as I was looking further, I saw this charge for like $116 at a restaurant on December 30th. And I'm like, first of all, why would I be out on December 30th? Why would I go to a restaurant?
Why not?
And why would I charge
$116
to a card that I know I don't use, and I usually just use it for Costco if I ever go Costco.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is wrong. Somebody ripping me off. So I called up Visa, and then I was talking to Jeff.
You didn't check with your wife first?
I did. It's not connected. Her CC credit card is not connected.
Okay. She's smart.
Yeah,
like
so
my wife.
I called up. He goes, oh, this Jeff, can I help you? And I go, yeah, you know what, man? I got this bill, and I got some discrepancies on it. I wanted you to go over, and maybe if you can track where it actually came from, then I can validate if I use it or not. And he goes, well, your first one is something. I go, yeah, I know that's the TV. And he goes, the second one is it's a restaurant. And I go, I know, but I don't never use it for restaurants. He goes, okay, let me check. Yeah, you know what? It was used by the chip. And I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, that is strange. If you never go, you don't remember going. I go, no, I don't. And even if I went, I use my other credit card all the time. I don't use this one, He goes, okay. What we'll do is, because it does look fishy, and I believe your story, we'll credit you back, and we'll do an investigation. But however, right now I suggest we cancel your card, and I'll send you a new one.
Oh no.
So I'm like, oh, thank you so much, Jeff, for your time, and I cancel it. Right?
It didn't say what restaurant?
It said PESO. Okay.
Peso?
So yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't even know peso. What the hell is that, right? And it's like, I was like, I'm getting ripped off. So then the guy credited me and then said, I'm going to send you a new card. Fine, I have the phone. And then I started going into my, the thing a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then it said PESO Honolulu. And then I started thinking to myself, I was there. Because my friend was in from the mainland. We were wandering around Ward, and Peso is a new restaurant, the Filipino fusion restaurant.
Okay.
It was Ono. We ate there.
Apparently,
so good.
$116.
We ate there, and we were drinking, and we.
I don't know how good it is considering he doesn't remember going there.
No. So then, I guess I was drinking and it was dark. I don't know, and then I must have gave them the wrong credit card. Like I gave them my Costco one instead of my usual one that I use, and they rung me up with that one.
Oh. Did you call them?
No, so I felt bad, right? Like I felt like I'm cheating the system. So I went back on the phone. I did all the thing to get to the guy.
Plus, they charge back peso for that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So I went on the phone. I did all that stuff to get to the guy. And then Jeff answered again. I go, Jeff. And he goes, hey. I go, I just talked to you. He goes, yeah, man, what's up? And I go, I'm so sorry. And he goes, what? I go, oh, I actually ate at that peso place. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah. And I actually probably used my card. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, it was dark and I probably used the wrong card. So I just wanted to be fair and not make like I'm a criminal.
still gonna
trying to
send you a new
cheat the
card.
system and charge me for that, please, and I'll pay for it right now. He goes, oh, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you for calling. I guess a lot of people wouldn't call.
No.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I go, but I'm super sorry I put your $2. He goes, well, anyway, a new card is gonna be in the mail anyway, but pay off your old card and then we'll be all good. It's all good. So I'm like, okay, thank you. But that was the most stupidest thing I did, and that was only less than 24 hours ago. So you can imagine what I did when I was a kid.
Sure.
You know?
That's a good story.
It's a very good
Was
story.
it? I don't know.
That's a very
Okay,
good
Dev. What do you got?
story. When I worked at Kualo Regional Park, I always don't want to tell these kind of stories because college just takes them and like makes them something else.
I promise I won't tease you.
You are such a freaking liar. Anyway, so when I worked at Kualo Regional Park, we do the camping with the kids.
Okay.
So this is long before. You want to open that all the way up so you can just take those without making noise? Okay. Anyway, you only took one. You shouldn't want to take like 3 or 4. Just empty them out on the table. Okay. So it's a camping program for elementary school kids. So we would get them from different summer fun sites. So they would come in and camp for like 3 days, and we would torture them for 3 days, and then send them back to the kids. It was a ton of fun, and we enjoyed it a lot. And we would have to train. I worked at Kualo for like, I don't know, 7, 8 years or something crazy like that, because it was always during the summer. And we would have to take people out. And okay, I know this is going to be hard to believe, but I actually did outdoor stuff. So we would go
Did you do it at night?
hiking.
This is like another dimension?
and paddling and like all that stuff. Like I was super active when I was younger. Anyway, so we had to take the new trainees out onto the boat, and we take them out to Mokoli'i, which is otherwise known as Chanmisat. So we take them out because we take the kids out and we take them out to the bay, and then we bring them back. So we take them out, and then we tell them stories about all the, because Kualo is a very sacred place to Hawaiians, right?
Yeah.
It's where the Ali used to train their kids and all that kind of stuff, and
They used to train the kids for battle over there?
Makahiki, play games
okay.
with them and stuff like that. It's like a vacation area, and because the bay is very calm, so you could bring them in there and teach them all kind of stuff, and they would learn at that area. In fact, it's so sacred that the Ali used to, when they would pass by Kualoa, they would lower their sails when they would pass through. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so we are in the middle of the bay, taking people out on the canoes to show them all this stuff. And I was the steersman, so I'm sitting in the back of the boat, and there's like, I don't know, there's 5 or 6 counselors. And because I'm a guy who made sure that the cute girls were in the boat with us. And so my partner in the boat is sitting at the front because he's paddling. He's the stroke paddler, and he turns on and we're telling them stories and stuff. And I'm sitting back being all cool in my number 6 seat. And I decide to be extra cool. And, you know, you're sitting in the seat and you can kind of put your legs over the side of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I put my leg over the side of the boat, and I'm kind of chilling, and I'm hanging out, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I went, holy shit.
Loud enough to hear?
Oh, I totally farted, yeah. And and I thought, okay, maybe nobody heard. And every head in the boat turns around to look at me, and they're all like, what the? It was really bad. I wanted to
Because you
just
can't
jump
blame
in
it
the
on the
water
seat,
and
right?
huh?
Because you can't blame it on the
Yeah,
seat.
I
It's
could.
made
There
out
was
of
nobody
wood.
to blame. It was just me sitting in the. It was horrible. But that was very.
You couldn't think fast enough to make them an excuse.
You know, no, there was just not enough time.
Like, you're like, oh, you saw the Honu.
No, I was so mortified. They would have known I was lying my ass
Oh.
off too. Anyway, but
You
yeah,
know,
that was.
in those kind of situations, the best thing is just to own it.
Oh yeah,
you
well,
know, but when you're young like that, you don't think that fast, right?
No.
Yeah.
But they told that story throughout the whole camp.
Yeah, because if you made a joke like, that is the poking turtle.
yeah.
Everyone would have laughed and it would
Yeah.
have been whatever. But yeah, I remember being that age and like, you can't think that fast.
It's just mortifying.
Yeah.
It was mortifying.
So that whole camp, you never hook up then, because everybody needs a foot
You know,
boy.
honestly, I never hooked up at any of those camps.
Oh,
I think, yeah, I didn't because, yeah, I just never did. My friends all did. A lot of people got married.
well,
off that.
fudding in front of the girls don't make,
Yeah,
make
that
a
did
huge
not,
impression,
that did not
you know?
endear me
Yeah,
to things. But
yeah.
it was a lot like what you guys did with Frosh Camp.
Always became friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did like Grease and did performances for the kids and stuff. And by the way, we also did this thing. The city county, in their infinite wisdom, said, you know what? We should let the kids cook outside. So what they had us do was they had us get trash can lids. Now, this would never fly now. Ever, ever, ever. They had us get trash can lids, put charcoal in the middle of the trash can lid, light them, wrap a piece of cardboard in tin foil, put the tin foil on the... Put the tin foil on the charcoal briquettes. Then the kids would come down. We would boil eggs in a bowl, in a pot, right? And then the kids would cook luncheon meat and toast on the pieces of
Charcoal wood.
charcoal
Cardboard.
tinfoil. Yeah, the tinfoil coated cardboard. We were like, what? What is this?
I remember Frosh Camp once we had like, you have to make dinner for like 200 people.
Yeah.
Right?
So you sit in the kitchen and
cafeteria made the dinner for 200
yeah,
people.
you just
No,
serve.
I remember we would cook out. Like we had a barbecue kind of thing.
Really?
But I remember, yeah, we had this big tub. So one time, I won't bring her name up, but we had this one tub of chicken, raw chicken, right? It was all marinated and stuff. And then we'd throw it on the grill, and then people would come to the grill, grab the cooked chicken, and then go, right? And this one girl walks up, and we're cooking the chicken, and she like gets her chicken, and then she goes to the vat where the raw chicken was, and she grabbed like sauce,
Oh,
and she put it on the chicken. She started walking around. We're like, Lisa. And she's like, what? We're like,
You said you were going to say her name.
no, I made up a name.
Okay.
That's not her name.
why?
We're
You
like,
know who that is?
I don't think so, but in anyway, yeah, we're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I just got sauce. We're like, that's raw chicken. She's like, oh, like it didn't hit her. I was like,
We
"Geez,
never had to
Louise."
cook for everybody at Frosh Camp.
I don't
That's
remember what
crazy.
that
You
was
guys run
for.
on a budget or something. I had to do.
I
your
don't,
own?
I don't know what that was for, but I remember, yeah, we grilled one time.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, that was.
I miss it. That's the thing. Like nowadays, they don't have that kind of stuff. They
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
camping
Well,
programs
maybe
for
because someone
kids.
ate
They don't
raw
have a
chicken.
Frosh Camp. Yeah, maybe.
So they're like,
And they
forget
got
that.
sick.
That's it with that.
I just remember being at Camp Erdman and it being infested with bugs and
Oh, yeah.
Centipedes.
That's great.
centipedes and
Yeah.
all kinds of crazy stuff. And I mean, I can't even imagine because Kyle would tell stories about the crazy shit they would do at Frosh Camp. And I
Yeah.
was like, damn, because I was like elementary school when we went. And when you guys went, you were in college.
Yeah,
So
adult.
there
Oh, yeah.
were like no limits of
Oh,
the
yeah,
crazy stuff you guys
Yeah.
were doing. So
Gross.
The best was Cal, our friend Cal.
Yeah.
So he would, so in the mornings, he would bring
Cal
his,
Carras, my cousin?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
we'd bring, so a couple of days he would show up to Frosh Camp. So for those of you listening, Manoa, they, in affiliation with the YMCA, which is nearby, would do these camps for freshmen because, to get them acclimated to the school and stuff like that. Anyway,
So
so
the guys could check out the chicks. And
so on the second day of camp, Cal would always bring his gigantic sound system and set it up.
oh, nice.
And like at 7:00 in the morning, he would crank it as loud as humanly possible and just start yelling into the microphone.
Yeah.
Wake everybody
Yeah.
up. It was great.
That sounds
We
like
used
my
to do
cousin.
that, Yeah.
Yeah, it's good time. It's good times.
We were doing a camp for these kids.
Okay.
Once at Frosh Camp, and we were their counselors, and we were all sitting at a table in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And at a cafeteria, there's a picture of Jesus on the wall, like normal picture of Jesus.
Normal picture of Jesus.
It was Eddie.
Huh.
We were eating, and then he goes, "Hey," he's asking the kids, "You know who that is on the wall or what?" And then one of the kids looked and go, "Is that Mr. Erdman?" And we were like, "Oh boy."
All right. Okay.
Well, what
let's-
did he say? Did he say, "Oh no,
He goes, "No," but
that's Jesus"?
we shook our head, like, what's going on here?
Okay. So this one comes from Royden. and he just wants to know a little bit more background on the podcast and where we want it to go in the long run, advice on podcasts and all that stuff. I don't know if you should be asking us for advice on podcasts, considering our podcast.
Dude, just empty the things out because
But
it makes so much noise.
just while you guys are
the
arguing
the way
about
I want to
that,
eat the M&M.
You
Not
can
the
eat it the way you want to eat it.
M&M.
You're just making plenty noise while you do it.
M&M.
So the podcast was really started because we have the High Sessions music channel, and we just thought that we'd have some kind of communication to our audience, right? Because we have all these people that watch the music channel, but they might not know anything about Hawaii or the artist or anything behind the scenes. And so I, to make a long story short, recruited a couple of really good friends, Kyle and Devon, and we've been doing this podcast for 4 years now, coming up on, which is pretty crazy.
It started off at my house.
Yeah. Started
The
off
first
at Kyle's
episode,
house and then slowly migrated to
at
where
your
we are
house?
now.
The first episode was at my house, and it was Jake.
Yeah. First episode is Jake, and then
Dude, it's been so long I don't remember already.
yeah. There's guests that I'm like, I have to think about who
We
they
had them. I actually asked you, I'm like, hey, we should get this person. John's like, we had him already.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. So and I don't have, at least I don't know about the other guys, but I don't have big plans for the podcast. We actually have a very nice, not totally small. I mean, it's a decent following of people who do listen to the podcast. The people who do listen to the podcast like what we're doing, and we have thought about expanding the podcast. And there is things we can do to reach more people, to get sponsorships and things like that. But once, being that I've done this a bunch of times before with like the TV show and with music stuff and all that, once you start getting other people involved, then you're responsible and you have to report to someone else.
And the whole dynamic of what we started in the first place would be gone.
Yeah.
Because
So I kind of like what we're doing now. This part of the High Sessions universe does not have to provide a profit.
Yep.
I mean, we can kind of just float this as long as Devon and Kyle are willing to do it for free. Then then we can just keep doing it. So I haven't been that motivated to expand the podcast or do anything else. I mean, I'd love to be able. The only thing that would benefit us by expanding the podcast is I think it'd be easier to get larger guests on, because
that's true.
most guests kind of look at your audience viewership and then based on that they'll come on.
But I also think with the Rolodex of friends you guys have right now, it's they would
What you
come
mean?
on.
You know plenty of people too.
Yeah, but they'll come on, and it's interesting.
there's enough people
famous
that want to come on
you know?
that
Yeah.
there's enough stuff to talk about. So
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the guests and stuff, and our audience hasn't either. So as long as
So far that we know of.
that we know of. So as long as people are not complaining, I think yeah.
I mean, as long as people like what we're doing and we're having fun, we'll just keep going, I guess.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's good fun for just
Yeah, it's
meet
good
people
fun.
and talk
I
story
look
and
forward
learn,
to seeing
you know?
Kyle and
Yeah.
Devon once a week and eating good food from Ruger.
Yeah, I
and
know,
talking
right,
to me about
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
How bad can that be? Life is good.
It's fine. Yeah.
So in regards to
So,
advice,
in other words, we have no real plan for this.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
just doing it.
I think that's the beauty of it, though. We never
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, as far as advice for podcasts, I would say that you have to be consistent in order to gather an audience. We were lucky in the sense that we had the High Sessions audience to begin with, so we already had a kind of a built-in audience. But if you want to start from scratch, you got to be consistent. You're probably going to have to podcast more than 3 times a month, which is what we do.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work,
Well, for John.
for
and his daughter.
whoever's going to be doing the editing and stuff. But other than that, I mean, you can do it. You don't need any kind of fancy equipment. In fact, what we have is not fancy. All it is GarageBand on this thing with 4 mics that I bought from Easy Music and an amp to power the mics.
And the first
That's it.
150 episodes was shot off an iPhone.
Yeah. The first 150 episodes we shot on iPhone. We got an upgraded camera thanks to the crew at High Sessions who felt pity on us and let us borrow one of their cameras. But other than that, I mean,
And we turn them on every once in a while too.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's not hard, and then I would say pick a topic or pick a format that you feel like you can talk. Because I've thought about starting other podcasts, and I'm like, can I really talk about movies, over and over again? Like, because then what happens is now if I do a movie podcast, right? Now I got to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'm obligated to watch movies because I have to talk about movies.
Yep.
and I don't want to be obligated. I just want to do it when I want to.
You said you watch 50 a week or 50 a year.
50 a year. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Every year.
So
But that's not a lot. You know,
could
like
do 50 podcasts with one movie a year. One movie every week.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, the guys that review movies, they actually watch way more than that.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if I'm gonna
And you're reviewing movies that are like 12 years old. So.
yeah. Well, no. Most of the movies that I do, I try to keep it within the year because I do my top 6 at the end of the year or whatever.
But the beauty
Yeah,
of
that's
this
such
podcast,
an arbitrary number. I don't understand. Why is it top 6?
It was top 6 because so I grade every movie A through F.
Okay.
And then so I was just like, well, I have 6 A's this year, so I'll just
Yeah. But the beauty of this podcast, John, is you can interject that into any conversation.
right.
You don't have to have your own podcast for it. But
Right. Yeah. So that this format works for
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Okay. We'll do one more. So this is from Gary, and he just wants us to talk about 90s Hawaiian music, which is
Which is pure heart.
Yeah.
which is yeah,
Well,
we
iconic.
thought about
Iconic.
that, but I would say
Ka'au.
peak Hawaiian music,
Honua.
90s. Well, 80s or 90s.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Are we calling it Hawaiian music because it took place in Hawaii, or are we talking about you know what I
Hawaiian.
mean?
No,
Yeah,
I think we
we're talking
should
about Hawaiian.
consider contemporary in there as well because I think most people that are listening, even if they're not from here, would lump in CNK and
Yeah. You know when I think about the
Kalapana
90s,
into Hawaiian.
when I think about the 90s, I think about Kapena.
Yep.
And how they bridge the gap between popular music and just Hawaiian music in my book. Because in my car I had a stereo system obviously, and Kapena's CD was right next to Run DMC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they kind of bridge because not only could they play Hawaiian, they did play reggae and other stuff
And-
that was relatable.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they were one of the first bands that brought in a Samoan song or a Tongan
Yeah.
song or whatever that was in the original language
Yeah,
and
yeah.
played with the instruments, and you go,
Well,
what is that?
Even some reggae stuff, like some musical youth and stuff like that, they would be playing. So I think they were really groundbreaking and an influential band in the 90s
Oh yeah.
that spawned into like other things like Call Creative Boys, Pure Heart, and everybody else, you know?
Yeah, I wonder who was before Kapena with, because I know Peter Moon Band was one of the first
Brother
when they
Nolan.
started doing
Yeah, Brother Nolan.
Yeah,
Nolan.
yeah, all those guys. So.
Nolan was one of the first progenitors of the whole reggae.
Native News was a big one.
Because
By the
Native
way-
News was huge.
By the way, Nolan is going to be on Hisessions this year.
Really?
Yeah, I've talked to his
Awesome.
people.
Can we get them here? Or do we need to
yeah,
travel out
yeah,
the
oh,
island to
you
get
know
them?
what? Yeah, we should get him on here. Yeah, that guy probably has some stories, dude.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I will.
So we
I will
need
make that
it's
happen.
going to be a 2-hour pod, though. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we can break it up into parts. Yeah.
I love Brother Nolan, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
he's
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
And he's one of these guys like just pure entertainer.
Yeah.
Pure entertainer, so good. But yeah, I he's very hard to find.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I found someone reached out to me that is helping him out now. So you don't have to find him,
You just have to find the person.
that person. But that person is
Oh.
available. So.
yeah.
I heard he's an avid fisherman too.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
dude.
You know, so
Major. I
Hunter,
know. I'm going to have to leave the
man of the
room
land.
because you guys are
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
go off for half an hour about fishing.
Yeah. Well, someone did ask about Kikaida on this thing. Well, let's stop with the.
Oh,
Well,
what
let's-
about the Kikana thing, man?
You mentioned
No,
the
no,
K
Come
word
on,
to
man.
Devin. You
No,
gotta say
let's-
something now.
Wait. Let's finish up on
Okay.
90s music.
90s
Okay.
music, yes.
So yeah, I mean, I think it was the perfect time because it was bands could live off music. So you had really talented artists that were full-time
Mana'o Company.
musicians,
Yep.
writing
Hold
music, all those kind of people that could do it, and it just bred talent.
And you know what? Big props to KCCN
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're the ones that put them on the map. They were like the biggest radio station in the 90s.
We were number one.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing time, and the concerts that was put on at the show.
Birthday bash.
Yeah, it was such a it was a cool time. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And when did you start there, Dev?
When the station started, I was there.
What year was that?
1990.
Oh, so
They
1990.
turned the stick on.
th-
they turned
that-
the stick on, and I was working.
Yep.
So Randy
That's-
Hudno, Kimo Kahuano,
Skylark.
Sky,
That's why
Bill.
I feel like because I don't think of much Hawaiian music before. Like there's a lot in the 70s,
Mhm.
right? There's like Sons of Hawaii, Peter Moon Band, Makaha Sons.
Country Comfort.
I feel like there's a black hole from like 83 to 1990.
Because you only had
But and
AM. You only had KCC.
yeah.
and
So
AM.
there was only
Yeah.
AM. That's why. So
And
that's
they were pushing the culture as much as they could and the music as much as they could. But you had Brothers Casimiro, you had Sons of Hawaii, you had Palani.
Beamer Brothers.
Beamer Brothers, yeah. I mean, you had all those guys, and there was a little bit of crossover here and there, Kalapana, people like that. But
Because
there
it-
was all that, and then
Yeah.
they steered because they were steering so much toward the more traditional side. There was this whole other level that was starting to come out with like Brother Nolan, people like that,
Yeah.
that they wanted to access, and so
Well, I remember it being
But-
very separated. Like, if you played like Capenna would never get played on KINE.
no, but that's no, but
KINE
that's
was more old school.
yeah, but
right?
KINE developed because they were trying to pull our numbers. Because at the time when FM 100 started, FM 100 was like a hybrid station. So we had the AM stuff. So you had Ho'okena, you had the Brothers Casimiro, right? And then you'd also hear Ho'aikane, or you'd hear Ka'au Creative Boys, or you hear those groups. And so they would sort of mix and match them. And then once the reggae part started to come in, then those guys were the traditional guys got kind of pushed aside because it was a real huge mishmash. It was hard to follow, and then they picked up KINE, and then they were like, "Oh, cool! Now we got two stations, and they can access both." Both
KCCN
groups.
also had like a hybrid because when Big Mountain got popular, they started getting airplay on,
Well, yeah,
on KCCN.
because Bill and Sky and all those guys, they saw the reggae thing
Yeah.
starting to happen, and so they embraced it. But that's where
And
Maxi
Oswald and
Priest
Maxi
and
Priest
Oswald
and,
and all
yeah.
yes. But it was very pop centered
Mm-hmm.
reggae, and that's where the whole thing started to
But-
kind of shift.
What we gotta remember too is in the '90s was an amazing time for music, not only for Hawaiian, and Jawaiian and all that bands, but Radio Free Hawaii brought a lot of music to Hawaii
Oh,
too at
Radio
that
Free,
time.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like Sugar Ray and all these other bands like Blind Melon and all these Stone Temple Pilots all played it here.
Yep.
And without that station too, we wouldn't have been.
And then I got to give props to 985 because 985 pushed the genre forward as well
Yep.
because they were playing
The
much
grunge
more
stuff.
edgy.
Yeah.
No, 985 was much more edgy with their reggae selections.
Oh yeah.
So they went way
Oh,
harder.
98.5.
Yeah, so it was, and I remember when they first came out, we all went, "Pfft, who gonna listen to that? Come on,
Mm-hmm.
One on One by Natural Vibrations. Who's gonna listen to that?" Then it became like the number one song. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Natural Vibrations was an amazing group too, man, in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Jeez,
great.
the music they made.
We're trying to get Penny on, by the way.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And Wayne.
I always say, man, I remember because they're from Waimanalo side, so a lot of my classmates were friends with them, and then I remember going to parties and they played way before they were Natural Vibrations.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, these guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
And
They're
to
all
think
doing cover songs with
the way that they were able to push the envelope of what Hawaii groups were able to do, because I mean they were one of the first to tour to the mainland
yeah.
and do all
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and specifically all they did was play reggae. They weren't a pop group; they were a reggae group.
And
that-
original music,
oh yeah,
which
Yeah.
is
yeah,
you know,
fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic. Love those guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
sorry.
yeah, the '90s were a good time.
it was.
It was. I mean, for radio, for the music itself, for even the people who were creating, like Kyle, them who were creating all the shirts and whatnot. That's,
Oh, yeah.
That's golden. That's golden time. All the
Yeah.
locomotion, all the HIC, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Because all the skate culture and all that.
Well, and what's crazy is I watched a movie over the Christmas break called Totally Killer.
Oh yeah.
It's about a serial killer, and they go back to the '80s.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, all these movies are going to be like back in time to the '90s.
Yeah.
I know.
You know,
spooky
Because
man.
'90s are already 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah, 30 years away.
Yep.
So man,
You know when you're
goes by
in,
quick.
when you're in Pure Heart, that was early '90s, right?
No, late.
Late '90s. So
Late
Call
90s.
Cradle Boys were your influence. That was early '90s.
Early '90s, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So besides Call Cradle Boys, who were you listening to?
Oh,
Because you came up in an era with Honua and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know.
but it was all Kapena, Kyle Creative Boys, Is, Makaha
That
Sons,
Justin guy.
Papa. Justin, yeah,
Justin was before you guys.
before us.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah. Justin was doing it from when he was in high school. It
Yeah.
was his. It was his.
Oh, he was brown. Was he brown bags?
No.
No,
No?
that was it. Was his him recording his album was his, what is it called? The entrepreneurial thing, Junior Achievement. Is that what it's
Oh,
called?
yeah, he did
That
some
was
kind of grant or
his
something.
his Junior Achievement project was doing an album,
No way.
and that was his first album that he did. Yeah, and then
I
that
remember
started the
hearing
whole thing.
Corey Lokelani and Travis on
Yeah,
the radio. Corey
yeah.
Oliveros back
Oh, yeah.
then.
Corey Oliveros, yeah.
And I was like, wow, man, this guy's my age. So it made me think like, oh, we can do this,
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
early days Hawaiian Backyard Jam? You guys played Kapena Ho'onua, and there was this new band with these kids called OP Pickers.
Pickers.
Oh yeah.
And who
Yeah.
would have known, right?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
Imoa Garza is a musical genius.
Crazy.
At the time, he only came up to like my belly button. He was so small back
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, this guy's like crazy good now.
Yeah.
It's so nuts.
Okay.
Okay.
And very nice too.
Well, let's end with Kikaida then, since
Okay.
I know Devon wants to talk.
Well,
I'm gonna do a couple of texts.
you the
over
one
here.
said Kikaida. I'm like, what?
Someone asked about Kikaida, so
Okay.
I don't even really know Kikaida. It's a little bit before my time. I know it's a dude with a guitar that turns into a robot that fights monsters.
That's about right.
Yeah.
But
Evil
what
monsters.
else do you wanna add to the Kikaida?
What was the question?
It just said talk about Kikaida.
I'll tell you a story about Devin and Kikaida.
Okay.
No, you told this story already.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh. The doll?
Yes.
The grab bag?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The grab bag.
We had a boys grab bag Christmas,
Yeah.
and we're supposed to buy like one of our favorite gifts and put it in the middle. And you know how you do the exchange?
Yeah.
So I bought this airsoft gun, because cool, right?
Yeah.
You can shoot roaches and whatever with it.
Shoot each
And
other.
he goes, what you got, bro? I go, an airsoft gun to pass around, and hopefully someone get it. He goes, oh, cool. And he goes, bro, I got the best thing. And I go, what? He goes, check out this. He goes, it's a limited edition Kikaida doll, bro. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I was like, I ain't going to pick Devon's gift, right? But the last guy that got it
Yeah.
was our friend Thomas, who really doesn't give a rip.
He don't
But
care.
somebody traded it with him on the last trade, and then I just watched him, and he looked at it, he was like, and Devin was like, cool, right? And he was like, oh.
Hey, maybe that thing worth money now.
Might be, yeah.
I think he put it in his aquarium so the lizards could crawl on it or something with reptiles.
You know what's weird? Like, you have all these memories of stuff that I have no recollection of at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember. When did we do the boys gift exchange thing?
Was at our friend Grant's house. He was watching a house in one of those heights. It was a
Okay.
big house. And
Yeah.
we had a barbecue.
We had
and
a party.
Yeah, an exchange. And then that's when you had the Kikaida doll.
I'm sorry that I don't recall this stuff.
Yeah.
I feel bad sometimes because all these things happen in Congo. Remember that time? And I'm like,
For some reason, I remember a lot of shit from that time.
yeah. Well, it was a very
Well,
formative
everybody
time.
has memories of like I'm very good at memorizing lyrics, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kyle memorizes when people do dumb things.
That's
It
true.
like registers in his brain.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
it
'cause
is.
he
I
can
think.
tease us
Yeah,
later.
I think that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you never know when you might be him seeing their wedding and get to bust out all the.
Yeah. Oh, anyway,
really
so
embarrassing
Kikaida.
stories. Yeah.
The question was just talk about
Talk
Kikaida.
about Kikaida.
Yeah.
What was your most memorable moment when?
Oh, meeting Bonsan,
Yeah,
for sure.
okay.
Yeah, meeting Bonsan.
Okay.
Actually,
the actor that
honestly, my
portrayed-
most memorable was when Kikaida came to Kona when I was
Oh.
9 years old.
Oh, that's okay. I can see
Because
why.
it was a huge
I don't think he
thing
realized
that
how
would come.
big he was. Not Evan Kikaida back in the day when we were kids.
No, but I can imagine if I was like into GI Joe or something.
Okay, no,
and
okay, so-
Snake Eyes came when I was
Here's a-
9.
oh,
and-
yeah.
Here's
I-
a comparison. You
Yeah.
remember how Pogs was back in the day?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Pog frenzy. There was a Kikaida frenzy like that, where like Zippies had like iron on that you take home and you put in your kids' shirts, and it was insane.
It actually happened, and it actually, interesting enough, happened twice.
Yep.
Right? Because they had the first round when I was young, and then another round in the, it was like 2010 or something, when they started running the show again.
I know what. Sorry, running a little bit late, but the
I know.
other question was, what was the most memorable episode to you?
Oh, Hokkaido. First appearance of Hokkaido. Because you saw Hokkaido come on, you went, that is a badass guy. And the funny thing was, the ironic thing was, Hokkaido was supposed to be a bad guy. But he ended up being more popular than Kikaido.
Because he just looked better.
Oh, he was badass, dude.
Yeah.
He had the brain going and the guns and the
All
whole
black.
thing. And yeah, and then when he would change, he wouldn't do like change, switch on. It was like a fucking knife, and he'd pull the knife out and go, and then bring the knife down, and he'd change it to a Kikaido. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. And you felt bad for Kikaido because Kikaido had the cross-eyed, and you go, oh, I kind of like be Hokkaido now.
Yeah, nicer color scheme.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
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 oh
yeah.
yeah,
Everything.
Dude. Yeah,
Was
he was-
Bajinja in?
Bijinda.
Yeah.
Bijinja.
Bajinja?
Bijinda.
That was Kikaido, right?
No, Bijinda was Kikaido 01.
Oh, okay, because that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite episodes.
That
'cause she-
one, because that one had Shiomi Itsuko and she was hot.
No, and she shot the laser beams out of her chi-chis.
No, that's not her.
Oh, that's not her.
Yeah.
Who was that then?
I forget, but I don't think that was her, dude.
Okay.
All right, so
I was like, well, anyway, I'm so glad we walked down that rabbit hole.
so I'd say, Nisa, you can wake up now. The podcast is over.
But Kikaido was really cool. I think it was nowadays the kids don't have an opportunity to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And
it's
imagine.
It's the one thing that I do regret is that when we were kids, you go with your friends and you go in the lot somewhere and you play Kikaido or you play G.I. Joe or you know what I mean? Like I remember playing physically with those army men.
So
and,
if you're
and having
stranded-
like full things, like driving in a car with my parents to Hilo or whatever.
We'll end it like this.
What?
If you're stranded on a desert island, Devon, and you have to pick and forced to wear a costume for the rest of your life, would it be a costume from a character from Star Wars or would it be from Kikaido?
It'd be something that would have air conditioning in it because it would need to be cool because that'd be hot.
So it would be Kikaido?
Actually, it might be Kamen Rider V3.
Okay.
I like I just probably be Hokkaido. Although it's all black and I'd be sweating
You'd
through
be
the whole
hot,
thing.
but
Yeah, it'd
you
be
look
hot.
cool though.
It would look fucking cool.
It doesn't matter. It would eat you first day at though.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks, everybody, for a great podcast. We will see you next week with a guest.
We hope so, please.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
Might be one of you.
Bye-bye.